Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? Please excuse my voice. I have a little bit of a sore throat. What we're going to be talking about today is a question that I keep getting asked. And I've been asked this question over the years, and it's about unprepared family members or friends, okay? And this has been asked of me many, many times. And it's a sticky survival situation in which family and friends inform us that they'll just come to our house when a disaster strikes. It's like, wait a minute, brake check, hang on. You're going to do what? Because you see what I've got. When SHTF hits, you're just gonna come here. Nay. It's one of those. So, we prep for our family, right? Our little unit, our family unit, our what we have living in our homes, right? So like, take for instance me, okay? I've got me, my husband Sean, my son, his wife, my 2 grandchildren, okay? And then I've got my niece and nephew. So there's 8 of us, right? That's who I prep for, okay? So I want you to sit and think, who do you have living in your home? And you prep for them, right? Okay. So when you have people come over to your home and they see, if they ever see your preps, do they ever make that comment of, well, if SHTF ever happens, I'll just come to your house? I don't think so. It's one of those, So this is an actual email that I have gotten, okay? And it says, I prep for my family of 4. I stockpile, I coupon, I can, I garden. And I'm considerate that we have extended family who may need our help if things really hit the fan one day. But I'm stuck. I'm stuck trying to figure out how to get the message across to friends and family that they really need to think about taking care of themselves. I hear you. I hear the teasing, but not really statement. Oh, well, we'll just come to you, come here if there's ever, SHTF or whatever. And I never dream of turning someone away, but at what point and how do you just say no? And they see me preparing and they don't think it's stupid, but they don't want to invest the time, the effort, the money to do it themselves. How do I tell them that I'm taking care of mine, right? And that they need to take care of theirs. That's not my responsibility because they're too lazy. Sorry, this sounds like more like a rant than a question. I just don't know how to delicately say, get yourself together. No. I hear you. I really do. Now, since this issue of unprepared family members is so very common, but also one that is very pressing to so many people. It's even pressing to me, I, tend to turn to other people in my community, and I ask them, what would you do? It's because we have to bounce ideas off of each other, okay? And believe me, I've gotten some really great advice. I really have. And there's also some divided responses. And where it says, yes, I would help them, and others that say, nope, not me, not ever, and it sucks because, a lot of my family members, a lot of my friends, they have kids, and it's like, well, I would never let a child starve to death. So it's so hard. It really truly is hard. And it's one of the hardest questions to answer in a general sense. I mean, each family dynamic is different, and each family member has their own idea of how much preparedness is enough, right on. And some feel that anything remotely resembling being prepared for even a short power outage is insane. I mean, I have family members that be like, why do you do that? It's so stupid. You're wasting so much money. Really? So if you're like asking a question, and it probably means that you've already tried all the normal logical ways to get people to understand you, you know, there are some ways to use like psychology to your advantage, right? If you're not willing to use like basic psychology to help your family survive, you may want to rethink just how ready you are to survive long-term disaster or SHTF scenario after all. The best way to sell something big to someone is to sell them something first, very, very small, right? Once they buy a small thing, they're much more likely to buy something bigger. And that's why salespeople try to always get you to say yes, like yes to the dress. You know what I mean? Like a few like questions before asking you to take a test drive, right? By answering yes, they've essentially sold you on the idea. And once you've bought a few ideas, a test drive is an idea or is an easy next step. And after the test drive, you're signing your name to a sentence stating that you'd buy a car for X amount of dollars. It's the next step. And after signing your name to that sentence, you've already bought so many things from them that by buying this car, it's just logical to your subconscious. Now, you do have a huge advantage when someone says that they're going to head to your house if something happens. Stop right there, right? Depending on your relationship with that person, it could be your in, so to speak. So what you need to do is start selling them on small things first. One way to take the topic to the next level is to continue that conversation. When they say that they're coming over to your place if SHTF, you may want to reply with something to the effect of, well, you know what, let's think about that for just a second, because you may have something there. It never hurts to word something so that it seems like it's their idea. Make sense? Explain to them that there's really no way to know if anything will ever happen. And if it ever does happen, there's no way to know exactly what the event will be or how it will unfold. So continue with the fact that because of your concerns, or their concerns, let's say it that way, you spend a lot of time trying to hedge your bets and learning how to survive and even thrive. If something bad happens for several days or several years, then the problem is that it requires a lot of time and resources to do that for your family. And you're really having a hard time trying to figure out how to extend, you know, your extended family or what will fit into your life afterwards, and you feel terrible about it, and you're trying to build sympathy. And currently you have barely enough for your immediate family, right? And if anyone shows up empty-handed afterwards, it means that your family will have to go hungry and not have the supplies that they need. So the key at this point is to get their buy-in, which can be difficult. And it's human nature to want to help family, right? And this may be your solution. Explain to them that you've been wanting to involve more family with some emergency planning, but you don't know how to go about it. Try to get them on your side of the discussion to come up with a solution. And you may want to use like a particular like anti-prepper family member as an example, and say that if something really bad happens, you don't know how you're going to go and take care of family members such as this person who will show up needing help. And you won't be able to help them out without risking the lives of your immediate family who have spent so much time and resources. Best not to mention, though, money, right? Or it'll sound like you're asking for a handout or being ready in case something happens. Now, if this person has any particular skill that you're lacking, it's an additional tactic, right? So let them know that you don't know much about first aid, or you're not a mechanic, or you're not a blacksmith, or you're not a nurse, or you're not a, okay. So, but you know that they've already learned it. They already have that skill. They're already licensed in that. Okay. Ask them to come over sometime and help your family prepare in some particular way. Got it? So this will not only get them closer to you, but they'll be drawn into seeing more and more of what you're actually going to do to prepare and how to organize and blah, blah, blah. Get it? So let them know that some of the knowledge and the equipment deficiencies that you have, and ask them how they would solve them. Now, if you do this correctly, the next step would be to give them ownership of a particular part of your prepping project. Now, such as being the go-to person for medical, mechanical issues, right? Ownership of a particular project is one of the best ways to get the buy-in for someone. They start taking responsibility for it and gain pride when it's done well. Now, once you have them doing this, it's usually an easy step to involve them in their own plans. Help them figure out what gear, documents they should have ready in case of a fire, local emergency. And if you can get them to do that, then they have the extra supplies like water, food, next step, right? Pretty soon you work on their plans into your plans, such as bugging out, communication, etc. So by starting off small, you can now get them to crawl your way before they walk and then run alongside you to deal with an emergency situation. Now, if you try to do too much before they understand things from your point of view, then they'll be looking at it from an outside point of view and will immediately turn and run away. So show them a little, get them to understand, and then show them more. Get them to become involved in the process a little more, little baby steps at a time, and then pretty soon you may find that they have a hard time keeping up with your new prepping partners, right? Now, believe me, I have dealt with family members who know that I prep, and some think that I'm a little out there, but whatever. And those same people go on to say that if anything ever happens, they're coming to stay with us. Oh, no, you're not. Okay. I mean, I laugh at them and tell them that they're just as likely to get knocked out as any stranger. While I may be laughing a little when I say it, I'm dead serious when I do say it. Okay. I mean, you see, when I prep for my immediate family in mind. And that's, you know, my family in this, my house, my unit, right? Every inch of storage is in preparation for my family to survive anything that has happened for as long as we can. If we can't go anywhere for days, weeks, whatever, months, okay, I want to be able to have that peace of mind to know that we can survive with no problem. Space conscious, you know, I mean, there's space conscious preppers like me. Okay, we don't have a lot of space. Even though we have a house, we don't have the space. You know, I mean, my preps threaten to overwhelm my home, but you know what? It's something that I deal with. I've tried to, you know, hide things, put things under beds and stuff like that, but guess what? It trickles out because I keep building up and building up and building up my pantries. So with all of that said, I do end up telling my other unprepared family members and friends who think that they're just going to come and stay with us. I can prep for long term, but I don't have the space or the money a lot of times either to prepare for the whole world. I really don't. My unit, that's it. You know, I heavily suggest that people reevaluate the state of their household and encourage them to get a few extra things. Education is offered, but I cannot prepare for them, right? Remember, I always say knowledge is power, okay? Now, there's so many things that I can tell you and try and help you with this, but it's so hard. It really is, because everyone's situation is so different, you know? But here are 4 things that I always want you to guys to keep in mind, okay? Do not try to pressure anyone. Making a compelling, persuasive argument using verifiable factual evidence and leave it to them to make the commitment. Okay. Keeping outlandish improbabilities to yourself. For example, a zombie apocalypse. You guys know that's never going to happen, right? It just furthers the stereotypical paranoid doomsday preppers persona, which is not what our community needs. Okay. I have had great success in the proof is in the pudding type thing, right? Even a small scale power outage provides you the opportunity to show how much better quality of life is when minimally prepared, as well as an opportunity to interact with others regarding preparedness. Okay? And start small. The gift of an emergency backpack or an emergency vehicle kit is non-threatening and appreciated by mostly everyone. So I too cannot imagine turning away others who are in need. Okay, but I am prepared to do so should the necessity present itself. Take the time to mentally prepare yourself for the conversation where you may have to respond to, I'm sorry, but if something happens and you come here looking for help, I may not be in a position to support you and yours as well. Okay. In my own experience, often a simple, I'll be glad to help those willing to help themselves, has been subtle enough to avoid hurting feelings, but powerful enough to get the point across to unprepared family members. These scenarios are often difficult, but mental preparedness is equally as important as a good stockpile. All right, so I hope this video helps you guys with that question that I keep getting asked. Okay, all right guys, I'm out of here. I'll see you in the next one. You stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping, and as always, fearless. Ciao.